Conrad, just a sound check, can you hear us okay?
Okay. So this lot is 8,600 square feet.
Sorry, that can come up.
Yeah, I can hear.
Conrad?
Yeah, I can hear.
Can you hear us? Thank you. I just wanted to make sure we were good.
7,800. Okay.
Okay, go ahead and ask your question again.
Okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and call the meeting of the Public Health and Safety Standing Committee, meeting of July 9th to order. Chief Schrock has given me a record of calls from July 1st through July 4th. And these are calls, I'm really surprised.
I know.
And these are calls for service that you responded to.
Right.
Are there any calls that you weren't able to respond to?
No, not to my knowledge.
Okay, so you were able to respond to every call that came in.
As far as I know, yes.
So there were 4 fights, 2 domestic disturbances, 2 intoxicated disorderly, 2 DUIs, 1 drug, 1 threat, 3 welfare checks, 7 fireworks, traffic stops were 57, and
Motor vehicle crash.
Yeah.
and the motor vehicle crash, non-injury, a fraud, 2 trespass, a vandalism, a suspicious.
One of those is a burglary.
The
Trespass burglary.
Yep. Suspicious person, 51 warnings, and those warnings were on the, traffic stop,
More than likely.
more than likely?
Yeah, we can't give out warnings for DUI, drugs, or domestic violence. So-
Or fraud, or burglary?
Well, fraud's an open investigation, I would imagine. Those are pretty difficult to close right out of the gate. So, yeah, more than likely, traffic stops were.
Well, and since you issued 6 citations, if you add the citations with the warnings, you come up with the number of traffic stops. And,
One of the citations was given out for fireworks at the end of the evening,
okay,
for arrests.
and the one for fireworks, was that a short-term rental?
No, it was on city property.
He does.
Yeah.
Can I do it? You bet. Like
Yeah.
park somewhere.
Well, they were shooting them over houses, not the greatest idea in the world.
Not really.
And I'll offer I don't see the value of adding where it happened or where, but I do see the value of saying that there were 7 fireworks calls that were responded to and that warnings and citations were provided. To me, is the value that's there.
Okay.
CFS stands for in the,
Calls for service.
okay.
And then 4 arrests,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm assuming the arrests were probably drugs, maybe?
Domestic violence, burglary, and
Yeah.
Yeah.
drugs, yeah.
Okay, 103 calls in 4 days.
So, I think that you should, have a little Facebook page, and you should, like, every week, post it, like billing stuff.
I like that idea a lot.
I don't know. I mean, I'm not telling you what to do or anything, but I think, I kinda like that with billing, that so people know what they're responding to.
That's one of those kind of Republic outreach opportunities.
The outreach.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
that, you know, they know you're out there and how many calls you're getting them
Yeah.
every week.
Is that something that can be done, Mr. Mayor?
I'm certainly, willing to take it up with the chief. I think that's
I know
I-
there's a fine line between showing that you're a crime-riddled city versus, you know, this is what we're doing to protect you.
Yeah.
Well, it's over a holiday when we had a lot of people in town.
Right.
like a lot
Yeah.
of people.
Yeah, and that we only,
We had 103 calls, and as far as he knows, they were able to respond to all of them, so there were none that were, so there were 7 fireworks calls, and of course,
Which I thought was surprisingly low.
well, I thought that there were surprisingly few fireworks this year
yeah,
compared to prior years. I mean,
That's good. I
I've
took
seen
note.
them where the whole, you look out and like all of Red Lodge is lit up.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
No, I
and
remember
it
that.
was not, yeah, and it was not
Those,
like that this year at all.
The educational signs coming in on 78 and North Broadway, and I would imagine the south side.
huge.
Red Lodge, yeah, no, I took notice of that right away.
I think it made a big difference. Kudos to you, Mr. Mayor.
Yeah, and kudos to the police department and Landon for taking the initiative and going and putting one up at the
Yeah.
fireworks stand
Yep.
too.
And for the fireworks stands guy, because he had 0 issues and concerns, no resistance. I actually stopped by and thanked him as well, so.
Yeah. We did receive a letter from Chris Mullaney,
Yeah, I got that too.
that wanted to know, how many calls and were citations issued. So
And,
There were-
and I will be able to speak to that.
7 calls and 1 citation, yeah,
Regarding fireworks.
regarding fireworks. As odd as it is, we went to bed early and I never heard a thing, and I'm over on South Hagen.
Yeah, I know, I did too. After like 10:30, I think I hardly heard any after the city fireworks were off, just a few, but.
There was quite a show, I live in the county, though, there was quite a show close to my house.
I had somebody on the next green over from where I live that was setting off fireworks larger than what the city was
Oh,
on the 4th of July. I was,
Were they outside of the city limits?
no, they were in the middle of the golf course
Oh.
fairway,
on the
setting it up.
fairway.
They didn't happen the next night. I was curious and ready to see. I don't think that's the one. You said yours was city property and this was golf course that I'm aware of. I did not call them in for a combination of, it's really hard to catch and be there and ready when they were there, and was hoping they were done, and after 2 or 3 rounds, they were. And then I also assumed that they were big enough after the fact that they'd probably be at notice and responded to if their caseload permitted.
Right.
In fact, I need to add this.
Well, I mean,
but-
I can kind of see the mayor not being the one to
No,
call things in too
And,
all
and
the
that,
time.
and that was the other thing, because there have been things that I have called in specifically for folks that have said, well, here's this, but I don't feel comfortable doing it in.
Yeah,
And I do the same thing as dispatch, and I do my best to clarify, yes, this is Dave, but this is just Joe citizen calling in, please do not give it any escalated. But even though I say that, I'm
Your
sure.
name comes up when you call in.
I'm sure that if the caller gets relayed on from dispatch, or they know who to reach out to, it says mayor there. So while I'm happy to do that, and I do my darndest to downplay that, and I have had conversations with the chief and the officers as well. And in fact, I'll take it a step further. They have been informed and instructed that if I ever go blasting down Broadway and don't get pulled over, and there's an officer who's there will be a talking to. So that the expectation is I shall be treated just like everybody else. And so I do what I can to make that message consistent and believable.
so,
Wonderful.
yeah, so that's,
Interesting.
how was that in comparison to the prior year?
I would say this year was less busy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you notice that whether or not they were on different days, or was that only on the 4th of July?
It was throughout the week.
It was the whole,
Yeah.
whenever they felt like it.
Well, and I didn't really notice a lot of fireworks other than the 4th. There were
Yeah.
a few on the 3rd, but not really, and a few on the 5th,
Mm-hmm.
but.
Yeah, no, it was fairly tame. I mean, there's a lot of calls, but I mean, like, in terms of like fireworks and stuff like that, it was fairly tame.
I think the signs made a huge difference.
103 calls divided between 3 guys, you know. Well,
33 calls
Yeah, well,
divided by
yeah.
4.
Yeah, it's, mainly swing shift and night shift is when the call volume starts to go up. So, you know,
And I think that the message that I will include it in the minutes, is just that there were 103 calls that included, 7 for fireworks, and that they were handled basically, as always, in the prioritized fashion of what's important. And that there were citations and warnings that were issued.
Yeah.
And that every, call for service was answered. There weren't any unanswered calls for service.
Yeah,
Don't wanna say
I'll
that?
look to get some because I'm not sure that that's the,
Well, they
I
always
think
try to answer
before,
every
yeah,
call.
I don't know that that's a certainty, and even in the chief's voice, I heard, I do not know otherwise, but that's different than,
No.
I am
Yeah.
certain that every call was answered.
Well, and sometimes, I mean, if you get a fireworks call, I mean, you can't
It
find
could
it
get put on the
anyway.
back burner from anywhere from 20 minutes to an hour.
Did you have something else?
I was just curious, for your warnings issued, would any of those be in an open container or anything like that?
I'm not sure.
I don't know how active the police department's
I think they were,
in the open container right now.
they do enforce it, yes.
I think a lot of times they just tell them
Well,
to
typically,
dump it. It's not an
Yeah.
official warning given, you know?
What, because I don't see any, how would open containers show up, where would open containers show up in this?
It would show up as an ordinance violation, so. there was no-
Intoxicated? There's an intoxicated
No, that's-
disorderly.
There
That's
was
not
something,
different.
was it Parade Day? It was one of those things that reminded me a little bit of Christmas stroll on Parade Day, and I'm trying to think if it was people walking down the sidewalk with open containers,
Oh,
or,
imagine, yeah.
the brewery was handing out, on the 4th of July, they were handing out
That's-
cans of beer.
that's what I saw, is they were and as long as you don't open it, it's
Yeah.
fine.
Right.
Right.
That was, thank you, because that's what I saw, and I went, ugh.
Yeah.
Candy for the kids, beer for the adults.
There's a,
I haven't heard a word about that.
What?
Amazing
yeah.
that they did that. But I'm also not.
Don't they do that every year? I think so. Yeah.
Were they doing it during the parade?
Yeah, they had a
Oh,
float.
yeah.
Are they checking for ID before they hand them out?
I think if somebody looks over the age of 40, like,
Yeah.
normally with gas stations will post, like, if you appear to be over the
Yeah.
age of 40, which
Yeah.
kind of bums me out, right? Like, you know,
When they stop
bite
asking
you
you.
or something like that, I'm like, you know, but, I mean, like,
They know.
they
They're-
work in the bar industry, and they, I think, I'm pretty confident that they can make those decisions.
Yeah, I guess I have seen them do that.
I did, and then I guess the secondary question is, and this is just maybe a follow-up with them, please make sure you mention to people, don't open this now, because I can see Joe Citizen saying, oh, you're handing me a beer, it must be okay to drink on the 4th of July on Broadway when I'm sitting here.
It's hot, I'm gonna pop it open.
I'm gonna pop it open and read
They were
it.
they were handing out freeze pops too, so I mean,
Those are legal to drink on.
yeah, you could, those would cool you down.
Anyway, sorry, didn't mean to,
Okay,
Okay, so did you get the minutes? guess we should-
I didn't get the minutes.
Oh, I emailed them yesterday,
She did email them.
last night. Sorry, I was out by myself at the
I
market.
haven't looked since yesterday
Okay,
afternoon.
we can move on.
You were in the market.
All day yesterday, all by myself,
Okay.
swinging ice cream at some.
School resource officer update, any news?
Not as of yet, no. It's in my, like I said last time, my understanding that they agreed to go into negotiations with the city.
Anything,
I-
you've heard, Mr. Mayor?
I'm sorry, say the question again?
School resource officer, has that
No, what was the
moved?
last question? I'm not aware I think the only factor, and I am moving forward with the assumption, that we're building that into the budget, particularly as I anticipate,
The,
getting,
Resolution?
direction from council to do so. So, but my anticipation is I'm moving, and that basically, it's not that I have a disagreement, that's just air cover. That my job is to manage within the fences, you guys set the fences, so.
Yeah, but you might as well plan. So we have the draft resolution for the 24/7 staffing that came from,
yeah, Dennison just
Dennison.
shortened it up.
I don't, think we saw anything, I'll read it out loud. A resolution of the Red Lodge City, of the Red, isn't it the city of Red Lodge? Oh, the Red Lodge City, whatever. To maintain a minimum staff of 7 sworn police officers to ensure continued police coverage, 24 hours a day, 7 days.
Mhm.
Okay? Whereas a minimum of 7 police officers affords the population of Red Lodge and the 5-mile district surrounding Red Lodge a sufficient police force to ensure 24 hours a day, 7 days a week coverage. And whereas the population of the city of Red Lodge is growing, which has increased the crime rate within the city of Red Lodge. And whereas it is essential for the city to establish 24 hours a day, 7 days a week coverage to protect the health, welfare, and property of the citizens of Red Lodge. Now be it resolved, the city of Red Lodge shall maintain a minimum staff of 7 police officers to ensure 24 hours a day, 7 days a week coverage. I think I'm gonna change this up at the top, a resolution of the city of Red Lodge.
Perhaps life, health, welfare, and property.
What's
Health,
the
welfare, and
standard,
property.
what's the standard, like, public health and welfare, or is, I think, the standard
And
government?
safety, public health and safety.
Public health and safety, yeah.
I'd make a suggestion to change increase in crime to increase the calls service.
Yeah, that's true.
Which has,
Increase,
It keeps it neutral.
yeah.
And then the other possibility is just due to the increase
which calls of service?
of of,
What do you think?
Demand for police.
City of Red Lodge
because,
is
yeah,
growing,
increase
which
of
has
traffic,
increased,
there is a potential
the
for an
calls for
increase of
service.
calls and demand of service.
The
Did
calls
that,
and demand.
I got
Okay, hang on.
sidetracked.
yeah, I'm sorry, and we,
Okay, hang on. So the population in the city of Red Lodge is growing, which has increased calls for service. For service within the city of Red Lodge. The
And
population of the city of Red Lodge is growing, which has increased calls for service.
within the city
I-
of Red Lodge and the 5-mile, we have to.
I don't even think you have to say within the
no,
city of
We
Red
don't
Lodge.
need to do it again? Because it's not just the city of Red Lodge that has increased services. We've got a lot of new,
I would say the population of the city of Red Lodge and the 5-mile radius.
and the 5-mile radius.
okay.
No?
'Cause it's not as
I
simple.
agree with your original word, that it's not, it's just an increase. And read your whole thing, I'll compare it down to kind of what I was jotting in.
Okay, so a minimum of 7 police officers affords the population of Red Lodge and the 5-mile district surrounding Red Lodge a sufficient police force to ensure 24-hour-a-day, 7-day-a-week coverage. And whereas the population of the city of Red Lodge and the 5-mile radius is growing, which has increased calls for service.
And so, and that, now that, so the first one was a whereas rather than a therefore, so what
They're
I
all
had-
whereases somewhere.
So read the first one again, I'm sorry.
Whereas a minimum of 7 police officers affords the population of Red Lodge and the 5-mile district surrounding Red Lodge a sufficient police force to ensure 24-hour-a-day, 7-day-a-week coverage.
And then what I had in line with Rob's comments and the chief's was, due to the nature of, again, this just thinking out loud, due to the nature of Red Lodge being a travel destination, the potential exists for an increased demand of calls and service.
I don't wanna go there.
Okay?
I don't wanna blame it on tourists.
And you just got an increase in growth.
Reality of our community.
Yeah, I mean, because honestly, yes, July's crazy, but you've said that calls have increased exponentially year-round.
And
It's not just,
Calls have increased, and the overwhelming majority of arrests that we're making during these holiday seasons.
And is there room for that second one to just say the potential exists for increased calls, or do you just wanna say there are increased calls?
there are.
There are.
I think it just
Not the
said-
fact.
Yeah.
The majority of the arrests that were made were local.
I wondered if there was a ratio between tourists and residents.
That's a tough one to figure out, but like speaking from experience,
Yeah.
It's just how it goes, you know.
Yeah. So, okay, so,
The second whereas now reads, and if that's okay.
unless you want to add more to it or change it.
The second whereas says the population of the city of Red Lodge and the 5-mile radius is growing, which has increased calls for service. And whereas it is essential for the city of Red Lodge to establish 24 hours a day, 24 hour a day.
I think we could just say continue.
It's
we were already
essential for the city to,
We already have it established, don't we? Just say continue. Or this isn't anything new, we just want to continue what we have, status quo.
whereas it is essential for the city to continue 24-hour a day, 7 days a week coverage to protect the health, welfare, and property of the citizens of Red Lodge. Do we want health, welfare, do we need safety in there?
Yeah.
Yeah, health,
Health, welfare, safety,
Yeah, definitely.
and property of the citizens of Red Lodge. Now therefore, be it resolved, the city of Red Lodge shall maintain a minimum staff of 7 police officers to ensure 24-hour a day, 7 days a week coverage. We got it? Mr. Mayor?
Are you okay with that?
I think so, read the therefore,
Therefore,
was,
the city of, now therefore, be it resolved, the city of Red Lodge shall maintain a minimum staff of 7 police officers to ensure 24-hour a day, 7 days a week coverage.
my thinking in that therefore is the council directs the mayor to budget and plan for a staff of, and I don't know that that's significant difference there. I think the direction is clear one way or the other, but that was just,
I don't think the council, once the council passes this, then it's understood that the council directs the mayor.
that the director, mayors, yeah, I think you're right.
Okay. I'll
But
fix
does
for
does that, go back to that, does that say anything about plan and budget for?
No. This is simply staffing, budget your problem.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, if we're
I-
saying we want it,
I'll
you have to
accept
budget. Yeah, if we're saying we want it, you have to budget for it.
Yeah.
I mean, we can add it that we direct you to do this, if that makes sense.
No. I think her point is valid. If you guys state this is it, my job is to execute. That's the reason we had signs up, right? I'm executing within the fences established by council.
Okay. Now, the second one is a resolution of the Red Lodge City. Why does he keep doing that instead of the city of Red Lodge? And then,
No, he's the attorney, not me.
and he did that,
I would from the city of Red Lodge.
and down here, he does use the city of Red Lodge, but in the title, a resolution of the city of Red Lodge to ratify and approve the contract between the city of Red Lodge and the Red Lodge School Board establishing a school resource officer. That's the title. Does that,
So there's 2 different steps here.
I see that.
That is approving a contract which has yet to be negotiated. But the kind of the initial thought process was more in line with what the first one is, which is
Budget for it,
well,
the money.
which is plan for it and make it happen. However, I think, read the title again.
A resolution of the city of Red Lodge to ratify and approve the contract between the city of Red Lodge and the Red Lodge School Board establishing a school resource officer.
Okay, let's go through the whereases.
Whereas the Red Lodge School Board has also requested that the Red Lodge Police Department.
Yeah, get rid of the also.
I know, there's no, the Red Lodge School Board has requested that the Red Lodge Police Department assign a sworn police officer, hereinafter school resource officer when schools are in session, and whereas the City of Red Lodge and the Red Lodge School Board have negotiated a proposed contract attached as Exhibit A, memorializing the obligations, responsibilities, and funding of said school resource officer. Whereas the city has determined that it is essential to protect the health, welfare, and property of its students while they receive an education. And that should be a period, no more and.
Health, welfare, and, safety, but is that welfare and the same, welfare and safety the same?
I don't think so.
And in my thinking, we're not putting a school resource officer there to protect property. I guess that's part of what we do, but that's,
I don't like the property word either.
It's one of the assigned duties.
Yeah.
okay.
Is
then-
it?
Then it's fine.
So should we
Yeah,
add health,
So you don't
welfare,
have like
safety?
vandalism and, you know.
I think safety's really important. Health, welfare, safety, and property of its students. Now therefore be it resolved, the City of Red Lodge hereby approves and ratifies the proposed contract between the Red Lodge School Board and the City of Red Lodge establishing a school resource officer attached hereto as Exhibit A. The City of Red Lodge hereby authorizes the mayor to sign and execute on behalf of the City of Red Lodge said contract.
So I think that is a very, very good document for when we have a contract. So I think the discussion point tonight would be just, and I don't think it has to be a resolution. We have our preparation ready, go forth and negotiate and proceed with getting this position filled.
Because it
And
says,
that can just be a directive from council.
because this
that's-
says that the school board have negotiated a proposed contract. So maybe this is putting the cart before the horse.
It is, the question is, the horse isn't really required. Going back to the first one, it's not an absolute requirement, it's just air cover to say, go do this and build this into the budget. This I would have expected to be something more similar to the first one, but I think it is a logical and prudent person would assume from, we have this lined up in the chute and ready to work, go forth and make the contract so that we can have this and it's ready to go, I think is good.
So tonight, what we should do is just direct you to continue negotiations with the school board
And find money to pay for it.
and budget.
Yeah, we would like you to pursue that, and I think that, and I guess that can just come as a,
Directive?
a motion to direct or something. What are your thoughts, President?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, we could pass this now, but it
Oh,
isn't true.
we can't pass this
I
now
mean,
because
but, yeah,
there
but
is
it's
no
not
Exhibit
true.
A.
Yeah, there's no Exhibit A. I mean, there's
so-
no contract.
So
We
let's pause for a
could,
moment.
but there's nothing there to pass.
Where are we in your mind of, so where are we where are we in the hiring process for this? I have enough that I feel comfortable going through and advertising the position. But my understanding is we had kind of already been doing or looking at that, or does this give us what we need to escalate that a level?
I think this would give us what we need to escalate that level. There already is, even though unofficially posted, there already is interest in the position, exterior of the department, with, people, post-certified personnel. If you guys are comfortable with posting the position, I'd like to get a little bit of a, I'd at least like to get a meeting again with the superintendent and see where they are in the process before we, pull the trigger and post a position like that.
Yeah, that would be good in case they change their mind or something.
I sure hope.
And I do not believe that they are and have.
Right.
The question is, my proposal would be, so I think the follow-up conversation is, based on our previous conversations, we have received support from council. I would have them write up, one side or the other has to write an initial draft of what that looks like. Either you have access to it from another police force, or they have access to it through another school district. I would
A basic
suspect the
memorandum of
latter.
understanding or a contract?
I think a contract is,
I would check with them and find out what other school boards have done. But I think once we have, and I would do it via email so that there's a written comment, we will start the process, but we will not be hiring until that position is in place. But, and I would reach out to him and see if he, to the extent, I'd much rather have them put it together and our attorney sign off on it rather than build a dependency on our staff to create it, because I think between them and you have access to templates and other people that have done this.
Sure.
But I think as soon as tonight's meeting is done, assuming it goes the way I anticipate it'll go,
Mhm.
and if you want to reach out today, they can happen in parallel and have a follow-up conversation
Sure.
with the school board president. I think you should go ahead and make it official.
Understood.
So tonight at the meeting when we're discussing this, you know, some of the questions as to why, this is needed may come up. You know, I mean, I think
Do you,
I think it's
if your
obvious.
schedule
Hi,
allows
Judy.
tonight,
I know.
I would offer that there may be two benefits to you being here. One would be if there's questions or conversations, you could speak briefly to what those are. The second is you would get a chance to see Mike's doing his presentation on Public Works tonight, and you're next up in 2 weeks, and so,
Real quick, which day does that fall on?
a Tuesday,
And that is the,
Today's,
the
today's the
23rd,
ninth
So it'd
and
be the
14th,
23rd.
23rd.
might have to have a conversation with you about that. I'm gonna be out of the area for a training. I sent out an email about it
Okay.
a while ago, but I'll talk to you about that.
Is it, and I can push it to, there are, okay, we can work with that, but it is still might be helpful for you to watch through another presentation.
Okay,
If you're gone for training, then then we'll deal with that.
okay.
The one that's an issue is that we will have our public hearing on the second August meeting and approve the budget. And I'd really like to have, you have the opportunity to be able to present, and this is basically the ad hoc public outreach program.
Sure.
Did we already talk about you fielding a basketball team to be ready to play the seniors?
I'm not a basketball player.
I didn't say you had to win.
Yeah.
Maybe you should not win.
I'm also not gonna humiliate myself.
Maybe football?
But you're
Oh, I do it all the time. You'd be surprised how empowering it is, but our roles are different.
Okay, so tonight, I just need to do a motion to direct the mayor to continue negotiations with the Red Lodge School Board to provide the schools with a SRO. Does that sound?
Say the first part again, I apologize.
A motion to direct the mayor to continue negotiations with the Red Lodge School Board to provide the schools with a school resource
I would say to
officer.
move forward with.
Instead of continue to move forward
Yes,
with.
to continue to move forward, to pull the trigger, I move forward starts mean getting it ready. We have the instrument ready to approve you to do it. Go get an instrument so we have something to move forward
Okay.
with.
Motion to direct the mayor to move forward with negotiations with the Red Lodge School Board to provide the schools with a school resource officer. Okay. So we're not worried about the resolution yet, because we don't have anything. Now,
It won't be moving forward where the 24/7, and the reality is, the B isn't, it's not huge, it doesn't hurt to have it on the record that this is what we're doing, and we're setting a template that lets council and future councils know, you get to direct the mayor to do
Right.
Well,
what
the
you, the city,
the one
Correct.
thing that was nice about this one, that you brought up on the first one, was it says it's a therefore. The city of Red Lodge hereby authorizes the mayor to sign, execute on behalf of. This one could say, the city of Red Lodge hereby authorizes the mayor to
Fund.
fund
24 hours, 7-day a week coverage.
Yeah,
And that was what I proposed, and you guys said that wasn't necessary, so
No,
I
you can definitely add it.
I have zero,
I'm
I don't,
I'm fine with that, adding it.
two,
Clear,
five,
it's more clear, it's clear. Here we go.
yeah,
Do it.
so that's A, goes.
don't make Jody clap her hands at me again, it scares me.
I know.
Okay,
No.
so tonight I'll go ahead and fix the first resolution for 24/7 coverage. And then,
And then that has the possibility to move forward for next time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for action.
for action. Okay, and I love that we have a couple ideas for the, outreach possibilities, so much for the, basketball team, that got shut down.
It only takes 5. He doesn't have to be on the team.
Coach.
What if it's
Yeah.
something else
The idea is.
besides basketball?
The idea is that, and it's been expressed is that we are
Write it
looking
down.
for public outreach opportunities and to build positive relationships with the students and the everything else, so.
I
Yeah.
have that all written out. I still have my same presentation that I gave the school board. So, if I need to speak to it tonight.
Oh, I like that, yeah.
No, I don't think it needs to be very much tonight, but,
Yeah, if I am called on to speak, it's just cliff notes. I won't take up so much time. It's pretty self-explanatory.
No, I would like the council's authorization and support for this position, absolutely, because,
What if it's just a dunk tank?
I did that last year.
you did.
You did?
Was it
For
cool?
Summerfest.
It
You
was
did for
cold.
Summerfest.
It was cold.
It was real cold.
it wasn't bad.
They're
Some of
having
us are
two
better
Summerfest
insulated.
this year.
Well, that was, you were like one of the last ones to go. We warmed up for you.
You'd be in there.
Yeah, I was
by the
gonna
time-
say, I don't know why it was warmed up.
I peed before I got there.
But just what you did with public outreach, you know, at the parades, cleaning up after the horses. I mean, that is great PR. And all I've heard is absolute positive, incredible.
Yeah.
And
That was the
I would
easiest
like to
3
bring
days
the
I've
police
had
into
as
it.
mayor.
I bet it has. But I'd like to
I
see-
knew the shape of the pile and exactly how to solve it.
You were doing very well. And I love the banner explaining who you are for the people who didn't know, you know, and so that's really good. And I'd like to get the police department on that same PR plan so that the people are saying, wow, these guys are really working hard for us.
Yeah. Well, and they
And
also,
I think the FRO will do it.
they've had like, you know, snowball fights during Christmas stroll with the kids and, you know, things like that too. Just fun things. Those are all great
I
fun
think
things.
a lot of the public outreach is spontaneous as well.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Snowball fights,
Yeah.
you know, things that just happen.
Yeah. Try not
The
A
office-
lot of it's
Get out.
just setting the tone.
Yeah.
And I have not sat down one-on-one with Chief Schrock yet, but if you go through and talk to the department heads, there are commander's intent, if you will. Maybe we have had this conversation. 1, we're a service organization. 2, we're getting stuff done. 3, we're doing it within the rules, the guidelines, and openly and publicly as we possibly can.
Yeah.
That commander's intent makes it possible so we can have it disseminated.
Well, and that's why I like having the school resource officer brought out before council. You know, I don't foresee any problems, but, you know, you're open about it. It's not like an under, you know,
Under the
backdoor
table.
meeting, saying, oh, we're just gonna do this kind of thing. It's,
Yep.
yeah.
And see, if you did create that Facebook page, you could also say that negotiations are ongoing with the school board to
Or-
provide a school resource.
And I don't even know if you need to have a whole separate page. I think it could just be part of the City of Red Lodge's page.
And if,
Calls for
I would
service.
leave
I
it
think
to the
Facebook
discretion of the
gets
chief
out
if they're
more.
gonna do a
That's what I
social.
meant. The City of Red Lodge already has a Facebook.
If they're gonna do if they're gonna do a social, but we, as far as our page goes, we could certainly look for opportunities to have
Right.
additional information there. We're continually doing that.
Right, I mean, you try to do it for the Public Works Department too, showing them out there, and we can do calls for service, so people understand,
Okay?
what our officers are doing, and,
When I worked the gate at the rodeo, we always have sheriffs there, county sheriffs. And this year, the new guy didn't, but in the years past, they had these little, stickers that the kids could,
We handed out Red Lodge PD stickers there.
at the rodeo. Another thing I've heard is why aren't the police walking the streets as opposed to driving by?
They do,
Do they?
yes.
I have never seen one cop walking on Broadway.
We do it constantly, and we also leave door hangers, and, we'll check business doors to ensure that they're locked, and if they're locked or unlocked, we'll leave a business card.
I've seen
For
those.
the door check, yep. So, the one that does it, I would say the most, is probably Sergeant Brown, walks the foot beat, a lot.
Yeah.
And he
I-
hands out stickers.
I think it's worth acknowledging the feedback, though, that your perception is we're doing it a lot, but if the public feedback is, we're not seeing it or we'd like to see more, then that's
There's
just something
thousands
to
of people
think of.
that see it every day, because one person doesn't see it. I think, I don't know, I think it's justifiably saying that I've seen it happen, I know it happens. He'll report back to me, let me
And-
know.
Well, and part of it, if we go back to just on those page updates where we have like people in service, we'll make sure we include a picture of an officer walking down the street.
Okay,
Mhm.
yeah,
I
'cause
haven't
it,
seen him on the street.
Yeah,
okay.
well, especially during events, I see them.
And I think
Because you
it's
can
fair
walk
to
faster
respond
than
to
you can
say,
drive
it's
sometimes.
good to know, I am aware that they do, and just because you haven't seen it, doesn't mean it happened.
Doesn't.
I didn't
Didn't
witness the
happen.
shooting in Billings, but it doesn't mean it happened, or Yellowstone, or the, you know, so.
Yeah,
Which one? No.
yeah,
Like,
really.
especially.
Yeah. Those poor guys.
Okay,
You do have 6 minutes left, and you have at least one person online, just as an FYI.
well, I think at this point, we will go ahead and open it up to anybody in the room or online that would like to make a comment. Yes, Rod?
I've observed, I guess it's considered public safety, traffic related, but since the expansion at Babcock and Miles, cars are parked right up to the very corners around the post office, which has got to be our busiest intersection in town.
Yes.
And I have a hard time getting out because I can't see around the big trucks and stuff that are parked right at the corner. And it's kind of a step on the gas and pray that there's not somebody coming. So
Yeah.
if we could back that those parked cars up a little bit to get a better view of oncoming traffic as you pull off.
Not have them parked in the yellow anymore?
There's no yellow.
Oh.
Perhaps that's what we need to
Conversation that we had
do.
with Mike about,
Painting the yellow again?
I'd say so. That's the,
Oh.
you know, it's all, for all the times that we do issue like a parking site on Broadway Avenue for people parking in the yellow, it is a really good deterrent, because I would guarantee that if we didn't have those yellow sections on the intersection
Right.
painted, then it would be kind of hell on earth with, and even vehicles, bigger vehicles, for that matter, that are parked behind the yellow and not violating, it's still difficult.
You can't see
Still
them.
hard to see.
Yeah, you get a big RV or a truck with
Yeah.
big pickup with tinted windows,
Mhm.
you
Yeah.
can't see at all.
Yeah, so, I mean, like, if I have to go, if I'm coming off of 11th Street East, and I have to go south, like, if I have to turn left, and it's really busy, I'll just look and I'll turn right, and then I'll go around the block near,
I
like,
do
Rob's
that.
Business or something like
I
that.
do that all the time,
Yeah, especially during the summertime.
all the time.
Yeah.
You know, I
So-
come out of our driveway, I would love to go to the
We're always
left.
in your area,
Yeah.
because we have to leave our office and then go find a place to turn west, and then we go around the block where the,
You know, I see you guys drive by a lot.
Yep, oh, yeah.
So could
I
we
do-
put that on Public Works to, paint the curbs there at Babcock and
So,
Miles, all
What
four?
what I've got is some action items from me, is that I will have a follow-up meeting with Public Works and Chief Schrock on signage and
Honestly,
painting.
We also, it would be lovely to have a four-way stop there, I'm just saying, because people, it is the busiest intersection in town, and there's, once you're in the post office, you can't get out.
And so that falls under the Public Director's, review sign placement. So I can have that follow-up conversation.
That would be
Um,
wonderful, good idea.
And along those lines, I'll just go ahead and pass it on now as publicly. You have, I think I forwarded on, I'm trying to think if I got it via email, if it was a text, but, you have a volunteer for the vehicle speed feedback sign on, Brewery Hill during, the Harley event, that In fact, that's something I need to go back and up to my comments. Let me just add a quick note. That Beth has said you are welcome to plug it in and she'll use her electricity to power it and
Battery
anything else.
powered.
I'm just.
If I have to charge it, I'll run an extension cord, if she's comfortable with that. or I can
Yeah,
run it
she-
to the fire
she-
department.
She is, I think what she's saying is she's happy to support and probably feels the benefit that her house is at the right location for coming up and down, and if nothing else, it's really close to her house,
It's
but,
just a matter of, I don't care which way it faces, mostly beneficial, I would say facing west.
going up the hill as opposed to coming down the hill.
So that it's radaring vehicles, motorcycles, all the vehicles coming down.
Okay.
Because
okay.
that's where you pick up.
So, okay, so it's facing west,
Caught myself.
catching downhill traffic, yeah.
It's hard to keep that down. I've started using my manual and downshifting, because I don't wanna ride my brakes all the way down.
I can now check off something on my to-do list because I have relayed that that's available. I have also received through a lot of the stuff that's happening, not related to you, but the Spires development and stuff that's coming in, have received lots of feedback that on that north end of Diamond Sea, vehicles, including construction vehicles, are exceeding speed limits. We may want to reconsider whether we put some additional signs up there. Maybe we have the ability of putting the vehicle feedback sign in that's up there.
Okay.
Where are you
And,
proposing that?
The corner, near Continental and, Highway 78.
no, actually,
25, isn't it?
farther,
It's 55.
It's 50.
no, so this is actually inside of the subdivision on Diamond Sea up at the north end where it's a 25 because,
Oh, we're talking
State law.
Diamond C.
yeah.
That's Cole Drive, Highway 78, so.
And what I'm talking about is the north loop inside, so not even Cole, talking about going up around that loop.
Ah,
There is,
on the north side?
yeah, on the
Along
north
bench,
end,
way at the bench.
yeah, and
We
so,
patrol there a lot.
yeah.
Is it Lazy M? Is that Lazy?
But
That's
sometimes when
Pine
you,
Ridge
Pine
Road.
Ridge.
when you drive
Pine-
25 in the golf course, they give you dirty looks.
Pine Ridge
Yeah.
and Cole, I think.
And even walking out of my mom and dad's house, somebody will be doing 25 and I'll kind of do a double take.
Take-
It does look like they're going fast.
It does.
Yeah.
It used to be a
If you
fun
do
little,
25 down Broadway,
yeah.
which is the posted speed limit on a day
Then
like
you're,
today.
then you're an idiot, I wouldn't.
Well, no, Scott used to pull you over because there's also reasonable and prudent. I mean, just because you can go 25 doesn't mean you should go 25. Like if there's like, you know,
Yeah, but it's,
pedestrians all over the place and cars everywhere,
Mhm.
I mean, that's not safe.
My husband complains
It's a
all the
limit,
time on
not
South Hagen.
Not a
And I
map.
keep telling him that what 25 looks like on South Hagen.
I can personally verify that there are speed complaints on every city road, which I think we have almost
Oh.
100 downtown, or
yeah,
Yeah.
there's a
Okay.
lot.
Okay.
it's, you have one online,
Conrad, do you have anything that you would like to address?
Not that I know of. Thank you.
Okay.
thank you for joining today. Always like it when the public participates.
Yeah, no problem.
Thanks, Conrad. All right, it's 10 of, and hearing nothing else that we can address that's on the agenda. Thank you all for coming, and we're hereby adjourned.
So overall though, fourth was good?